Welcome to Stars X. Enter Sandman, master of puppets. 1. You know the songs. You know the riffs. But do you know the story? Metallica didn't just dominate heavy metal, they defined it. This is the story of how 4 guys built the biggest metal band on the planet, facing tragedy, feuds, and near collapse along the way. Before Metallica was born, they were just kids trying to find their way. James Hetfield grew up in a strict religious household in California. His father left when he was young, and his mother passed away from cancer when he was just 16. Music became his escape. Lars Ulrich? He was a Danish kid from a wealthy family who originally wanted to be a professional tennis player. But after seeing Deep Purple live, his life changed forever. He became obsessed with heavy metal, and in 1981 he placed a simple newspaper ad: drummer looking for other metal musicians to jam with. James answered. Hetfield brings in his friend Ron McGovney on bass. Ron's a solid player, but he's never as into metal as the rest of them. Then there's Dave Mustaine, a fiery, ridiculously talented guitarist with a drinking problem. His raw aggression pushes Metallica's sound forward, but his explosive temper makes things rough. And just like that, Metallica was born. With Lars on drums, James on guitar and vocals, Ron McGovney on bass, and Dave Mustaine on lead guitar, they hit the underground scene hard. But things weren't easy, money was tight, and they often crashed in random apartments or in their tour van. Then came the chaos. Dave Mustaine, as talented as he was, had a serious drinking problem. He was unpredictable, aggressive, and constantly clashing with James and Lars. In 1983, right before recording their first album, they kicked him out. With Mustaine out, they call up a Bay Area guitarist, a guy named Kirk Hammett from the band Exodus. His first day, he's handed a tape of Metallica's songs on a bus ride to New York and learns them on the spot. Mustaine would later form Megadeth, becoming one of Metallica's biggest rivals. And to this day, he still holds a grudge. Enter Cliff Burton, a bass player unlike any other. His aggressive, almost classical approach changed Metallica's sound completely. With him on board, they recorded Kill 'Em All, their first album, and heavy metal would never be the same again. Then came Ride the Lightning, then Master of Puppets. Metallica was no longer an underground band. They were taking over the world. But then, tragedy struck. It was 1986. They were touring in Sweden, driving through icy roads. The bus skidded off the road and flipped. Cliff Burton was thrown out of the window. The bus landed on him. He was gone. Just like that, the band was shattered. James Hetfield, devastated and furious, even went out into the snow punching the bus, blaming fate for taking his friend. They considered quitting, but they knew Cliff wouldn't have wanted that. Enter Jason Newsted. Taking over for Cliff wasn't easy. Fans weren't ready to move on. Even the band hazed him badly, turning his bass down so low you could barely hear it on. Despite everything, Metallica kept pushing forward, and Justice for All gave us one. Then came the Black Album. Enter Sandman. Sad but true. Nothing else matters. This was the album that turned Metallica into the biggest band on the planet. By the late 90s, things got messy. Metallica went after Napster, suing them for illegally distributing their music. Fans turned on them, calling them greedy. Meanwhile, James was battling serious alcoholism. The band was falling apart. By 2001, things were so bad that James checked into rehab, and bassist Jason Newsted quit the band. They were on the verge of breaking up, but somehow, through therapy, rehab, and a ton of arguments, they survived. With Robert Trujillo joining as their new bassist, Metallica bounced back. They released Death Magnetic, played massive festivals, and proved they were still the kings of metal. Since Robert Trujillo joined Metallica in 2003, each member has grown in their own way, both personally and professionally. James Hetfield overcame struggles with addiction and continues to channel his journey into powerful music while finding strength in his family. Lars Ulrich remains the driving force behind the band, balancing his love for drumming with family life and his passion for art. Kirk Hammett has stayed true to his creative roots, blending his love for horror into Metallica's evolution while constantly refining his craft. And Rob Trujillo brought a new energy to Metallica, grounding the band with his legendary bass grooves and infectious personality. Together, they've stayed strong through decades of challenges, proving that Metallica isn't just a band, It's a family. Today, Metallica is more than a band. They're a symbol of resilience, passion, and never backing down. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.